This video is about Toddler Milestone 1, which starts at 18 months, and it has a vocabulary building exercise. I'm going to switch over now to the description of Toddler Milestone 1. This is the summary of Toddler Milestone 1. In my book about this, Misbehavior is Growth, an Observant Parent's Guide to the Toddler Years, you would get an expanded description. Toddler Milestone 1 starts at 18 months. At its most intense, is at 18 months 1 week, and it lasts all the way until 19 months. Some of the irritable behaviors you see during the irritable period are they become very clingy, occasional meltdowns, their sleep schedule becomes erratic, and at the most intense, it's very clingy with many meltdowns. This one is called language comprehension, and there's a noticeable explosion in language if your child's willing to show that and share that with you. These milestones show the first time these type of skills are seen in any child. So please don't compare your child to this list. But typically there's an explosion in language comprehension. They're starting to understand a new words, about one per day. Toddler Milestone 1 is a great one to help build their vocabulary. They're having this huge language comprehension explosion, and if you know how to nurture it, it can help. And certainly having a strong vocabulary is necessary for reading. So I would recommend doing this. I don't necessarily recommend doing this after the irritable period is over. I recommend you do this activity when you're comfortable with it. Your chances of success are higher if you wait until the irritable period is over, but please don't wait. This will be an enjoyable activity between you and your child. So what I want to show is one of my favorite exercises, and this is going to show off the 3 stages of learning, which are critical throughout most of my educational activity ideas. And I learned this from Maria Montessori, from reading several books from Maria Montessori. I'm applying it to picture books and building a vocabulary. I'm not sure she specifically used it this way, but that's how I'm using it. So I'm going to explain it using this cat right here, of course. So you don't need to go draw your own cat. My favorite way to do this exercise is with picture books. Typical ones that say baby's first 100 whatever are really nice because they show 5 to 10 pictures per page, which is great for the child to look at. You can also use real objects to build a vocabulary. You can, especially for body parts, pointing to your nose and saying nose. And don't discount learning movement words like kick and dance, especially for a child that's very wiggly and active. Those actually might be very first beginner words to start to learn if they're having difficulty, especially. So this is the 3 stages of learning. You're going to use this with a typical picture book, and I guarantee you probably have one in your bookshelf right now, but it's just going to be a slightly different way of how you use it. And so here's the 3 stages. Here's the first stage, is stage 1. You point to this cat and you say cat, and that's it. That's stage 1. And you stay at stage 1 for at least 1 day. And you do all the other ones, dog and pig, and just stay there as long as it's fun for you and your child. And I find my son's actually this age right now, my 3rd child, and he'll actually grab my hand and make me point to the pictures because he just likes, it's a nice bonding thing to sit there with your child and do that. I find with learning there's something about the overnight sleep that helps. So after you do this, let them sleep on the information for at least 1 night before you ask any questions of them. And stage 2 and stage 3 are questions. This is stage 2. You present these options. There should be a few options, and you ask them, which one is the cat? If they answer correctly, great. You can keep going with pig or dog or whatever you want. And you can even go to stage 3 if you want. If they don't answer the question correctly, the lesson stops. You go back to stage 1. And you could try pig or dog if you think that they might have a fighting chance at it. But just go back to stage 1 and enjoy it. And just have fun with it. When they do get stage 2, then it's time to go on to stage 3. And by the way, I consider stage 2 to be like a multiple choice question. That's how I think of it. Stage 3 is you ask them, you point to this and you say, what is this? And they have to then say, cat. If they get it at that point, they've mastered the idea. And you can keep doing it if you want, if it's fun, but you can move on to other concepts. So I have fun with this. I like to think of as much as I can to teach them. And the way I think of it is, it's not so much that they have a huge vocabulary by the time they're done, but rather they're getting all sorts of practice at concept formation. So concept formation is noticing what is the same and what is different. That you have these three things that are kind of the same, but what makes this cat different than this pig? And so they're comparing and contrasting. They're seeing what's similar and what's different. That's what's mainly important to me in this vocabulary building exercise, but certainly that they learn new words is wonderful. So I wanted to make some comments about stage 2 and stage 3. It is a test, a quote unquote test. But the purpose isn't for it to be evaluative. It's not to test the kid and quiz them and see if they're getting it right or wrong. It's meant to be healthy practice. Anytime any human learns anything new, they need to practice it. It's not enough to just get the information. So like if you meet a person for the first time and someone says, this is Lauren, if you want to really remember it, you need to say to yourself, okay, her name was Lauren, and then it helps the information stick. So certainly children can learn words just day in, day out, hearing them, but when you give them something to let them practice with it, you're helping them learn it. That stage 2 and stage 3 are necessary for the learning process, and as the lessons get more and more complicated, I stay true to that principle that they have to actively practice the information intellectually in order to fully retain it. So that's it. That's Toddler Milestone 1. That's the vocabulary exercise. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you get the next one. And then the next one's actually going to be Toddler Milestone 3, and we're going to start, and that one's called Symbolic Thought, and the child can start doing letter work. So please share this video. Please like this video, and leave me a comment. Let me know. Did you like it? What's your thoughts? And come check out my book about this, Misbehavior is Growth, an Observant Parent's Guide to the Toddler Years.